Welcome to the show. Welcome to Your Thought Life podcast. I am your host, Michael Anderson. Today we're dealing with the scarcity mindset and how it hurts you. Let's jump right in with an attention grabber. Research from Harvard shows that people with scarcity mindset experience a 13-point drop in IQ when under financial pressure. That's the same as losing an entire night's sleep comparatively. Scarcity isn't just about money, though. It's a way of thinking that can quietly sabotage your confidence, your relationships, and your ability to grow. Today, we're diving into what a scarcity mindset really is and how it shows up in your life, and most importantly, how you can break free from it. Let's level set for a moment. A scarcity mindset is the opposite of a growth mindset. A scarcity mindset is the belief that there's never enough time, never enough money, never enough opportunity, never enough of yourself, etc., etc., etc. It's that nagging feeling that if something else wins, you automatically lose. This mindset can be very sneaky, and it's developed very early on and often shaped as part of our childhood. These childhood experiences tend to create the framework from which we carry those beliefs, values, and biases into our adult life. And then they get compounded over time and become somewhat rock solid as to our composition and how we feel about our ability to grow, in this case, not grow. When you're stuck in scarcity, family, you're always worried about what you're not instead of the opposite, which is who you can be, who you can become, or how much you can grow. Scarcity can show up in numerous ways, and they're very subtle. Maybe you find yourself comparing your progress to others, feeling jealous when a colleague gets promoted, or hesitant to invest in yourself because, well, let's just be honest, you're afraid of losing what you have. This is very common. You might even hoard your time or energy saying yes to things you don't want to do because you're afraid of missing out. Science tells us that when we focus on what we lack, our brains actually become less creative and more reactive. We get tunnel vision, missing out on possibilities that are right stab smack in front of us, as grandmother used to say. But what's the hidden cost? That's sort of the big idea for this specific talk. The real cost of scarcity mindset isn't just the stress and anxiety that it creates. That's a really bad set of circumstances that occur as a result of a spinoff. But it's the opportunity you never see, the relationship you never get an opportunity to nurture, and the dreams that you quietly let go of. And according to a study published in the Psychological Science Journal, people with scarcity mindset are more likely to make impulsive decisions and less likely to plan for their future. And I've heard this numerous times in folks that I've worked out with. I've heard this numerous times with clients that I've worked with, which also tends to mean that you might be sabotaging your own success without even realizing it. These are just a few of the top hidden costs of maintaining and sustaining a scarcity mindset. This first segment was designed to really uncover at its core what this looks like, this whole scarcity mindset scenario. So now let's spend a little bit of time understanding what we can do to break free from this. I want to share with you 3 practical steps that you can implement right now to help turn this situation around and move it from a place of impediment to a place of empowerment. First is catch and challenge those scarcity thoughts. When you hear yourself thinking there's not enough time, money, support, Just pause and ask, is that actually true? Or is it just a fear loop? Look for evidence. Science says that when you do this, you're tapping into what we use very frequently in our practice, which is known as cognitive behavior therapy. It's a proven method that helps you reframe distorted thinking patterns by challenging them into areas of opportunity for you to identify the challenge and move through it with a greater degree of validity without being stuck or trapped in that cyclical cycle. Each time a scarcity thought pops up, just say aloud, that's a thought, not a fact. Then replace it with one reason you can find that it's not true. Again, we're looking for evidence. Even if it's small, the smallest impediment to the legitimacy of the scarcity thought is all you need to discredit it. This rewires your internal narrative and begins to move you out of that space into a different space, neutrality, where you can then move on from there to a growth mindset. Number 2, write down 3 things that you're grateful for each day. I mean, I know it may sound a little cliche, but it's actually neuroscience gold. Everything I'm telling you from a practical application standpoint is deeply rooted in science with 70, 80 years of solid global research to support efficacy. Practicing gratitude daily literally reshapes your brain because, again, as I shared with you, you can't be in a negative spectrum and be in a positive spectrum. I'm grateful for all of these things. And the more you practice the one, the more you're going to gravitate to that, and that's going to become your net new default. Study from UC Davis showed that people who write down 3 things that they were grateful for each day experience better sleep, lower stress, higher optimism, and a greater degree of fulfillment in life. Gratitude activates the brain's dopamine and serotonin levels and circuits. And when you have that taking place, you have an increase in emotional resonance and long-term well-being, all positive outcomes as a result of something very simple and yet practical that you can achieve on a day-to-day basis. So before you go to bed or first thing early in the morning before you touch any devices, take 5 minutes and jot down 3 things that you're grateful for. No repeats allowed. Try to think of something different. And specificity is key for your brain to change. Number 3, spend time with people who think bigger. Abundance is contagious. Who you spend time with the most will shape what you believe is possible for your life. And so the science here is demonstrative. Through the lens of social learning theory by Bandera, we're able to come to the conclusion very succinctly that we know we consciously model the behavior, the mindset, and even the success level of the 5 people we interact with the most. Your environment literally programs your expectations. So if you want to become a different person, if you want to move from scarcity to growth, then surround yourself with people that are already on that journey, that are ahead of you, and that can pull you in to the circle and help rewire through repetition, through net new environment, through the development of new neurological pathways, because you're doing something incredibly different. Let them help bring you up to that next level. And in doing so, what you're doing is intentionally connecting with somebody, some group, a mastermind. Perhaps you're participating in a webinar, seminar series, something that energizes you, something that creates expansion and moves you out of that fixed space into a growth mindset. Now we want to move from neutrality into a growth mindset where all things are literally possible. If you can deploy these three simple solutions, you will be well on your way to escaping the hurt that is initiated by the scarcity mindset. Here's a psychological truth that I want to share with you in closing. Our brains are wired to notice threats and scarcity, but we can train them to see abundance. Neuroplasticity means your brain can change at any time, at any age. It is not fixed like we once thought. Big idea, the more you practice abundance, the easier it becomes. The more positive you put yourself in environments with, the more positive innately when you're by yourself, you will find yourself positive. As Tony Robbins once said, when you are grateful, fear disappears, abundance appears. So, with that said, let that be your anchor as to why you move forward with this today. And most certainly, I want to thank you for your time and for joining me for this episode. Do consider leaving us a rating and a review. Thank you very much. Feel free to connect with us on Linktree. Links available in the show notes. I like to remind you that you are enough, you can do it, and you are uniquely equipped to realize your goals. Until next time, take care, keep pushing forward.